Hey, 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 Aileen here, and I am continuing with my You Asked, I Answered series. And today's question is from Cara. Sounds like an Irish name, actually. And Cara's question is, what is the process for asking your clients what their budget is, but also explaining how much a wardrobe refresh costs and what level of quality you recommend for them? So, great question, Cara. I'm sure many other personal stylists have the exact same question. So the first thing I would actually do, Cara, thinking back to my earlier days as a personal stylist, is to have a price list. Just simply have a price list. So if you're meeting the client face to face, you can just pull out your price list. It's already on paper, it's established. It gives her a chance to take a look at the pricing and be comfortable while you're talking to her. Um, and then I would just have an open and frank conversation with her. Now, if you haven't talked, or if you haven't spoken your prices out loud before, what I recommend you do is to make sure you practice first. So, if your package costs $1,000, then practice saying, that service is $1,000. So you don't feel as flustered when the time comes to talk about pricing. A lot of it is just practice, just keep practicing until you get really comfortable with your prices. The other thing in terms of budget, you absolutely need to talk up to your client about the budget, especially if you're going shopping. So again, I would just start the conversation something like, okay, so where do you typically shop? So that straight away gives you an idea of kind of what kind of price point she's looking at. So if she normally shops at Zara, for instance, versus if she normally shops at something like COS, you can immediately see there's going to be a difference in price. So you can ask her up front, where do you normally shop? And then you can talk about, generally what would happen is that if you go shopping with somebody for 2 hours, typically you'll be able to pick up between an 8 and 10 items for them. And, if they're $50 each, that's, a budget of $500. And you just sound it out with open and frank conversation, but it is a conversation you have to have, or otherwise, the shopping trip is going to be really uncomfortable. Whether you're doing, well, if you're doing it online, you may be paying for it yourself, which I don't recommend, by the way. You should always maybe put the items in the cart and let the client pay. If you're paying online, if you're shopping in-house, the client pays. So you never actually pay and then just be left short or having to ask for the money afterwards. So it's about, in a way, Cara, having the process thought out carefully before you kind of go back to the client. But definitely, I would say have a fixed price list, have what I call a mock budget for different price points. So if somebody is shopping in Primark versus if somebody is shopping in COS versus if somebody is shopping at more high end, like a department store that's more high end, I would have 3 different budgets and say which looks most like you. And just make sure to have a conversation like that up front, so that you know exactly what you're dealing with. And you can just explain that you want to make the service as beneficial to her as possible, and having all this information up front really helps you to gauge how much she should set aside for it, and also to let her know your prices and what you recommend. So Cara, I hope that short answer answers your question. If it doesn't, just pop another question underneath this video. And if anyone else is watching this, please do send your questions into me underneath this video or on a separate post, and I'm very happy to answer them live. Thanks a lot for listening. Oh, and if you want more training, before I go, I nearly forgot, if you want more training, be sure to check out my Savvy Stylist Online Network, Savvy Personal Stylist Online Network. It's my free Facebook group, and I do live training in there every week. And it's much longer than this. So I do it on color, on style, on business, everything related to your business of the business of being a personal stylist. And I put the link underneath this video so that you can access that easily. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.